So recording. So I am completely buzzing, as I know lots of you guys are who went to convention are completely buzzing. This convention, I feel like, was the best one that Europe have done so far. Yeah, got Liz nodding. So when I first started, as lots of you know, I took myself to the American convention because I really felt it was important for me when I'm building a business to really understand who I'm building a business with. I really wanted to get that feel. And so I went to an American convention a couple of months in, and it was the real seal the deal. Oh my goodness, this is way bigger than I could ever have imagined. And it just set me on fire. And since then, I've always felt like I need to get to American convention to rekindle that. And this year, I have to say, the European convention, I'd say it's almost, I'd say it's like slight, you know, of course, at the American convention, you get all the executives, right? So that is a slightly different fit in that sense. And otherwise, oh my goodness, it was just incredible. And the purpose of tonight's call is to try our best. We've got a few people we've invited to come and speak and share some of the, like a summary of some of the main talks that were shared. And yes, the energy was incredible. I mean, that's the thing that we can't get across. I mean, we'll do our best to share with you and ignite you guys with the fire that we felt. And it's, you know, our main message is, of course, I think from all of us going to be is get there. You cannot understand the power it does for you and your team until you get there. Once you go there, it's like, aha, this is why. You know, we do events in the UK and they are important too. And I know we always talk about getting there. And a big part of that is actually to build that community feeling, right? I strongly believe that community is the thing that will get us through whatever we need, right? So dōTERRA, and for lots of us, we've gone through some hard times. And when we have that community, that's what gets us through. And so going to the UK events is so vital for that. And going to this European convention is just another level. You can't get that anywhere else. So I would like to first of all invite our speakers to talk. So I want to make sure we have time for all of you guys, and then I might say some things at the end. So first of all, I'd like to invite, I haven't told them which order, so they're all like, oh, is it going to be me? So Kathy, I'd love to invite you to please speak about your experience. And after Kathy, we'll have Sabrina tell us your tips. And then we'll go from Sabrina. Let me just have a look at my list actually here, so then I can give you a bit of notice now. So we're going to have Kathy, Sabrina, then Karina, and then Kelly, and then we've got Patricia from Poland as well, going to share with us, and then Dot, and then Tim. That's right. So that's your order. I'll remind you guys because you might forget. So Kathy, please share with us. I know you've got some exciting things that happened to you this year at convention. Share.
Thank you for putting me first. That's very kind. No, like you said, I mean, for me, this year has been huge. I went there hoping for a really amazing convention. I've been to lots before, but this was like nothing else that I've ever been to. I went with some of my old team members and lots of new team members who'd never been before. So it was so wonderful to share in the excitement with them as well, and reignite that kind of like, oh my gosh, this is why we do this feeling. So you asked me to talk about gala, which is kind of like, being really honest, it's like the frilly bit on the side of convention, isn't it? We're not there learning, we're there celebrating and having a really lovely community time. But this year, yeah, it was my recognition for hitting diamond a long time ago. But because of the pandemic, we've not managed to have it recognised. And for me, that was huge. I kind of hadn't really emotionally prepared for it. It just suddenly was happening. And I went with my team, and it was very much a huge part of the process for me to go with them. It wasn't just about me, it was an achievement we achieved together. And like I said, I've got some new people who had, have joined my team since the whole diamond experience. So it was really beautiful for them to kind of understand the achievement and what it took to get there as well, and what it means. So gala in a nutshell was like an exquisite banquet in this most beautiful room. If you're ever in doubt as to whether you should book a gala ticket, then do. If you can afford it, if you can afford the time to go as well, it really is a time of celebration of what we're doing, what all that hard work, all of the behind the scenes, all of the kind of the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, the roller coaster that dōTERRA is. For many of us, this is time to celebrate, and dōTERRA put on the most amazing show for us all this year. It was wonderful. The setting, the food, and just the ambiance of the room, and I can't quite process yet what it meant to me in honesty, what it felt like, what it meant to walk, but I've tried to write down a few words and to just try and explain. For me, it was very much recognition of, like I said, the achievement I did, but with my friends as well. But more than that, it was, wow, this represents the thousands of lives I've touched, and the people I've helped, and between me and my girls, the people whose lives we've changed. And I kind of had a bit of a goose pimple moment, really realizing that, and that for me was what it represents, and that motors you forwards to want to help and do it again and again and again, because that feeling is second to nothing else. It really is. And so the talk, I said to Bex, I'd really like to talk about kind of links to that, I suppose, which was one of the talks by an American, I think he was presidential, if not more, I can't remember, but Matt Hall, and he was fantastic. His talk was on surfing the wave of dōTERRA, and he made so many great analogies, but really his kind of message to all of us is to create a momentum of your own, to do this for yourself and for your momentum of help and service to people, and not compare yourself to other people. I've written notes so I don't go off on a tangent too much, but he recommended helping a lot of people make small changes in their lives consistently and continuously, and round and round and round and round again, and keep going with that, is so much better than helping one person make a gigantic change in terms of for our business. So we need to be creating this wave of our own, and it's that do or don't do it. It's up to you, but you're doing it for your own business, and you're doing it for the people that you're then reaching. All of us are here to want to work hard, and he gave the analogy of his business growth, and I think many of us in the room really associated to that in one way or another. He talked about the growth of bamboo, and so for all of you who are there, you will know what I'm talking about, but for those of you who weren't, he described the growth of a bamboo from seed to plant. It takes 5 years for that seed to germinate, so the farmer is there nurturing and looking after a field for 4 whole years continuously, without any yield, without any growth, without reward, if you like. And then in the 5th year, that bamboo grows 25 meters in 6 weeks. And so you can see the connection to dōTERRA, you can see the connection to our business. And he said for him and his wife, they both worked dōTERRA together full time for years and years. I think he said it was 10 months of doing the business solidly and full time, and they only achieved the rank of elite. He kept saying elite, without progressing, without going forwards. Actually, in his 11th month, he went to premier, and then silver and gold quite quickly. And then from there, they plateaued again at platinum. And he was a very good speaker. He was very good at giving analogies. And so from that point, they stayed at platinum for 4 years. And why is that the case? Why did they plateau? Why did they not grow anymore from there? And he kind of realized that he spent a lot of time nurturing his chickens, which he said, this is his words, not mine, but it really makes sense. You have a chicken, you try and throw it in the air, and they don't fly, but you spend all of your time picking the chickens up and trying to make them fly, and they never fly. And you're bogged down by trying to pick them up.
And Kathy, can I just say, apparently he missed out a part of the story. He says, and sometimes the chickens poo in your face. You know, you do all this work.
Yeah, they poo in your face.
It was so perfect. And he was basically saying, you know, at some point, this needs to change. This is bogging you down. And the best thing you can do is bring in new people who want to fly for themselves. And he said, you want to have people who want to be eagles. It's not that you can turn them into eagles. They are eagles. They are ready to fly and they are ready to go. And it's all about that creation of your own wave. And it's, yeah, Pete's just put it in the chat. It's personal production, 100%. And so I've got so many notes, so many things I've not said, but yeah, that's one thing, is massive personal production and going back to the beginning of who you were. And I say this to my team actually often, is try and access you at the very beginning with that energy, that drive, that desire to enroll, and just create that absolute personal momentum. And one really key thing he said was, if you really want to create momentum in your team, is find a new eagle and plant them in the middle, and the other chickens will have envy, or FOMO as we like to call it, and they will become eagles too. I don't know how much time I have. I could talk all night about this, but it was so good. It was such a light-hearted but very powerful talk that he did.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kathy. I think that's such a powerful message to share, because like you said, I think most of us can relate to it. I think 99% of us that come into dōTERRA, whether we get stuck at the beginning, stuck in the middle, stuck at the end, you know, it's not hardly ever just a soaring up journey.
No.
So
he made sure that, you know, something very important he said was that we mustn't compare ourselves to what other people are doing and achieving. It stopped us. It really stopped us growing, and we just need to be focused forwards. And you know, we've all heard Boyd Truman talking about that, focusing in front of us and forwards, and with dedication and knowing why we're doing it. Powerful stuff.
yeah, absolutely. And it kind of goes along with Eleanor's, and no one's really covering Eleanor's talk, and I might mention it a little bit throughout, but it's definitely one to watch. And Nathan's done a great job of recording them all, so you can go onto the YouTube channel at any time and watch them. But Eleanor spoke about how we all have soul seeds. So we're all individual. We all have these seeds. She's kind of saying they're in us, ready to sprout at, you know, any moment. And when the timing's right, and when we've done enough nurturing to those soul seeds, but we're comparing with others all the time. We're trying to get their seeds, but we maybe not supposed to be a sunflower. We might supposed to be like a primrose or a tulip, or, you know, and we can't try and be like someone else we're never gonna nourish and find our own soul seeds and what we can evolve into. So it's absolutely right. There were so many talks that kind of said similar crossovers, wasn't it? It was like, just head down, you know, be the best you can be, nourish yourself, and just go out and give, and it will come back to you.
100%.
Love it.
It solidified it for me.
Thank you, Kathy. And it was wonderful watching you walk this time.
I couldn't have done it without all of you lot, so thank you.
Just want to encourage,
do it all over again.
I just want to encourage you that it is really amazing to walk at the gala as Diamond, and also on recognition for lots of you. We'll share that in a minute, but it's just wonderful. So to go and celebrate your hard work there. And I was saying to some of the team that it's actually more enjoyable and more, I don't know, heart fulfilling to watch your team walk along. You know, it's almost a bit teary, because you know the pain, the suffering, the hardship, the hard work, the joys that have gone into Kathy walking as Diamond. And it's just a very, very proud moment, Kathy. It was really.
It's what it represents. All that hard work.
No,
Really.
We know what it took.
We know what it took.
Exactly.
So, well done.
Well done.
Thank you so much, and I love you
You
very
deserve
much.
it, and you
Thank
deserve that
you.
moment.
So deserved it. It was a long wait through COVID.
Yeah, it was.
So thanks so much, Kathy. Right, Sabrina is going to now share about some products with us, which is very good. So thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you. So I'm going to try and break down some of the science for you on the CP plus soft gels and the turmeric. So we'll start with the CP plus ones. So a lot of us already know that, like with Copaiba, the difference between Copaiba and other things like CBD oil and cannabis, but we're going to walk you through them. So we have different types of receptors in our bodies. So we have CB1 receptors, and these are found in our central nervous system, but we also have CB2 receptors, and these are found in various tissues throughout the body, but mostly in our immune system. They have a higher concentration in our immune system. The fun fact about CB2 receptors is that they've been shown to modulate acute pain, inflammatory pain, surgical pain, and any form of pain associated with injury. So when it comes down to CB2 activation, it affects different multiple pathways in the body in the inflammatory process. So cannabinoids can stimulate anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects that are beneficial to the whole system. So in reality, there's loads of different cannabinoids found throughout the body, but we're going to just look at 3. So the first one we're going to look at is cannabidiol. I have to make sure you get that one right. That one is, they just have to be such difficult words. I mean, but that one is produced by cannabis, secondary only to the THC, which is in abundance. So obviously we're going to cut through that one in a minute, but these are the plant-derived cannabinoids, or the phytocannabinoids. They're characterized by their ability to react on the cannabinoid receptors directly or indirectly, having an effect on the endocannabinoid system in the body. So although it is an cannabinoid, CBD does not directly interact with the 2 classical receptors. So it doesn't interact with your CB1 or your CB2. And this partially explains why, in contrast with the THC element, CBD is not psychoactive. So you might find a lot of people mention that CBD oils aren't going to have that effect on your body, aren't going to make you addicted, aren't going to give you those drug effects with the CBD. So the THC is the principal phytoactive component of cannabis and has certain medical uses, but CBD stands out because it has both psychoactive and displays a broad range of medical applications. So we can't rule out CBD completely, but we have to remember that not all CBD is the same. So that is where we have the problem in the market, because it's actually getting the purity of the CBD. That's the problem. So we move on to cannabis. So cannabis has the tetrahydrocannabinoid, so THC. Okay, so that's what THC stands for. And this interacts directly with the CB1 and the CB2 receptors. So it has a chemical compound which is found in cannabis and causes those phytoactive effects, which, because it's binding with the CB1, so because it's binding into the brain and into the spinal cord areas, it's going to give you those psycho effects. Anything containing this module is a regulatory nightmare, really. It is a bit of a problem in the legal system. Because obviously it shows up as in drug tests. There's lots of questions around the benefits of this as well. Quite a lot of negative benefits more than the positive benefits. So obviously that's why we try to avoid a lot of the cannabis side. But what we want to talk about is beta-caryophyllene. So beta-caryophyllene is a secretoterpene, I can never say the right word, found in Copaiba essential oil. It has recently been found to bind to the cannabinoid receptors in the body. But unlike cannabis and in the THC, which binds to both the CB1 and the CB2, it only exclusively binds to CB2 receptors. So data suggests that beta-caryophyllene is a promoter of the immune system. So this is why we want to be using it. Turn over. So it doesn't have that psychoactive effect. that we have if it affects our CB1 receptors. And as far as we know, the highest amount of beta caryophyllene is found in copaiba. I'm going to try and explain. I haven't got the baseball mitt because it's down the garage and I forgot to go and get it. So I've got a new baseball mitt. It's called a okay. We're going to show you what what Brannick tried to explain using a baseball mitt and a ball. So this is my baseball mitt. Ignore the fact that it says, if you can read this, half of a gin sock, I think. The other one says bring me gin. Right, so this is your baseball mitt and your baseball. So what this is, the ball is your beta caryophyllene and your mitt is your binding receptor space. Okay, so we're gonna throw our beta caryophyllene into a receptor set, and this is now changing the inside of the cell. So because we've had to close our mitt, we've now made a chemical reaction and we've changed the process. What's important to remember is that you can't catch more than one ball at the time. So once you've caught one, we can't be catching other balls. And what happens with the beta caryophyllene is it's now secured in here, and then it stays there until it eventually just evaporates like away into our cells, and then the receptor site's then free for something else. Now, the interesting part is with other things like CBD, what they actually do is, yes, they do stick to the receptor sites, but they actually stick to the receptor sites in not quite such a good way. So they're now sticking on the top. So as you can see, they can fall off and they don't actually make that bind to change the reaction that's going to happen inside the cells. So that is hopefully a visual of why our copaiba is a lot better than CBD oil in that way. So hopefully that makes sense, fingers crossed. So yeah, because only one molecule can come, obviously nothing else, no good or bad, can get in. So hopefully now that we understand the science, I'll just talk you through a little bit on your levels of copaiba compared to other products. So beta caryophyllene is also found in other oils, so 21% in black pepper, 13% in melissa and ylang-ylang, 8% in clove, and you've got 5% there in your helichrysum and juniper berry. But remember, we're much higher, over 50% over in copaiba, so much higher amount. They've done some peer reviews and studies, and they have shown that by binding to the CB2 properties, it's associated with many health benefits. So if you, even at 5 milligrams internally, it has been shown to reduce any discomfort. At 25 milligrams, it's been shown to reduce bowel irritation. At 50 milligrams, it supports better mood and helps to handle stress better. And at 100 milligrams, you can modulate our cognitive responses for the better. Now, with our new CP Plus soft gels, you are getting 120 milligrams of beta caryophyllene in these ones. So if you want to have those responses, obviously these are going to be an absolute fantastic way to get that in there, and nice, easy to do, rather than having to make soft gels and things. Just a few things you can do. If you have long-term concerns with inflammation, you could take 1 capsule 2 or 3 times a day. If you're dealing with short-term issues, then we're going to probably, like after a workout or before a workout, maybe 1 or 2 shortly after or before the workout. But it's now available also. I'm not going to cover Deep Blue, but just to let you know that copaiba is now being added to Deep Blue Rub and Deep Blue Oil because it's been so popular. So if you didn't know that, that is coming. So that's copaiba. I've got a bit of a shorter rundown on turmeric. Again, turmeric one went, if you did, obviously you recorded it. So if people want to really go deep into the science, they did go nice and deep on the turmeric, but I won't cover quite that deep today. But turmeric has been used for many years in natural medicine for thousands and thousands of years. It's something BC, I think they said. I can't remember what year they said, but it's been around for medicinal properties for a long time. First came to Europe in the 16th century. In modern times, it's been used in more than 1,000 human clinical trials and more than 10,000 scientific complications. So it's been used in many different areas. Key benefits of our essential oil that we already have is supports liver and metabolism, It supports your nervous system and your brain, supports inflammation protection, supports your GI tract, so your gastrointestinal, supports your cardiovascular system, and helps with antioxidant status. Each one of these benefits has been made possible by the chemistry of our turmeric oil. So again, they are specific to obviously our oil. We're not going to talk about all of the constituents, but just have a quick look at aromatic termerone. Right word. This constituent is primary compound that is responsible for the increased absorption of coumaroids from turmeric powder extract. So many people have used turmeric powder for a long time. I know people that use it a lot with horses and take turmeric powder themselves. And the benefits of the turmeric powder are already found in the deep blue polyphenols. So we already have that product, but now we've got an even better one to specifically for turmeric. The interesting fact about curcumin is that the ability to influence multiple upstream cellular targets, it has a wide variety of downstream benefits and intended uses, which means it's including providing natural antioxidants, helps to maintain healthy joints and bones, supports the skin and supporting the immune system, and helping to maintain resistance to allergies and supporting the cardiovascular function. So naturally, combining the benefits from the essential oil to the extract, we're gonna powerhouse what we can have for our body internally. So we will supply all the benefits with one single product. Combination does really provide the best turmeric has to offer and unique to doTERRA. And I'll just very quickly cover a little bit that he was mentioning about inflammaging. So he was talking about the fact that as we get older, those risk factors to our health concerns are even higher because of inflammaging. It's defined as an age-related increase in the levels of pro-inflammatory markers in the blood and tissues, and it's a strong risk factor for multiple issues, frequent causes for health issues in the elderly people. So this is a geriatric condition. So it's going to be an absolutely fantastic problem for our elder community to try and stop some of this inflammaging that cannot be helped as we get older. Also causes cognitive and physical decline in the elderly. So it's going to also, turmeric also inhibits activity of inflammatory enzymes. So therefore, we can reduce inflammation by reducing free radicals, and reducing oxidative stress can help to prevent signaling pathways that promote inflammation. So therefore, start taking turmeric dual caps. Hopefully that helped.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. That was a heavier topic to have to try and present to us. So thank you. You did a great job. And the summary is, yeah, take turmeric and copaiba, basically.
Basically, yeah.
and you'll feel good emotionally and physically. Yeah, but it's good to hear, isn't it, from the doctors why, you know, and really hear the science, so then we can really share with confidence, this is going to do this for you. So that was brilliant. Thank you, Sabrina.
Also really cool to see and hear how and why they've made the capsule. So they've got the, you know, the oil inside the capsule, and then they've got the powder around the capsule, because they both have different benefits that they add. And they've made it easy for us to just take it at once.
Yeah, they did talk about, which I didn't cover in there, obviously the difference with, actually a lot of people always automatically think black pepper and turmeric, but they actually talked about how with the black pepper, it has some other side effects that aren't always that good, not necessarily our oil, but the powder version isn't as good for our body. So they've decided to go against that area and stick with this that's more of a powerhouse.
Yes, absolutely.
Pippin, I think it was it Pippin? Pippin.
I can't remember. Thank you, Sabrina. Okay, so we're going to change the order up slightly. So we're going to have Dot next, and then Patricia.
But first of all, I just want to do a photo with everyone waving.
Okay.
You can turn your videos on and wave.
We're so on Instagram now.
No, just Instagramming this like crazy, man. Dot is
Got
inspiring.
67 followers. We've got to keep them up, you know.
Yeah, if you're not following us, it's not acceptable. Only got 67 followers. No video.
Oh, video.
There we go.
A bit close,
Oh,
and
that's a
that
bit
really
close.
close on me.
Oh, I'm just going to do that. There we go. I'm just going to get
That's
you going.
better.
Hey. I'm not very good at this. Anyway, I've tried.
Never follow it.
I'll try it on
Be
mine.
better.
Whatever.
Be perfect. Start. Okay, over to Dot, who is a lot better than us on Instagram.
Dot.
Oh, I think you're both doing very well, actually.
Thanks, Dot.
I'm very proud. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Kathy and Sabrina, and thank you, Nathan and Bex, for asking me to share. So I think I'm not speaking about a talk, I'm just talking about my experience of convention, or that's what I planned for anyway, so hopefully that was the brief. Okay, good.
First time, huh? First time.
Yes, first time. So yes, it was my first time at convention, and I've been with dōTERRA working with the business for like a year and a half, and so in that time I've been to all of the UK events, and I've always, you always hear like how important it is to go to events, and I read GoPro, and he talks in the beginning of that about how it's so important to just always keep showing up at the next event. Yeah. That was, someone gave him that as the secret of success. So I sort of, last year I was quite new, I hadn't read GoPro, and I couldn't afford to, or kind of couldn't prioritize going to convention last year, but they did the live stream and I watched it, and when they released the early bird tickets, I booked it straight away because I was like, I'm never going to miss another event, if I can avoid it. So I booked it, and I sort of knew I was going, and it was so far from what I expected, even though having been to events in the UK and even going to leadership last year in Italy, it was just so, I couldn't have prepared myself for what I experienced. And as much as it was amazing, and I loved learning all of the amazing information that was shared, and also like hearing from all the inspiring speakers, for me it was actually just like this really immense kind of rite of passage, like an initiation. So yeah, I went expecting to just go have loads of fun, learn loads of stuff, and hang out with all my sort of dōTERRA friends, and actually for me personally, I spent basically most of the time crying and deeply emotional, but it was really confronting and really at times very uncomfortable, but actually in the end I kind of knew that it was exactly where I needed to be. And I was thinking about it when you asked me today to talk about it, and it's really interesting because I was like, the first thing that came to mind was like, well, it's a rite of passage, and then I was like, what actually is a rite of passage? Because I talk about them, but I wasn't that clear. And I looked, and actually it was so interesting because rites of passage have 3 phases, apparently. So Wikipedia tells me. And the first phase is separation. The second phase is liminality. And the third phase is incorporation. And it's so interesting because actually in the 3 days, that's exactly what I experienced. So on day 1 at Empowerment Day, I had a real aha moment when one of the speakers was talking, because something he said unearthed a limiting belief that was hidden so deep in my heart. And those of you who know me, I love personal development. I'm in the group coaching program that Nathan and Bex have kind of created, and I do a lot of that work. And this really, really secret hidden doubt was like exposed in my heart, and it basically cracked me open. And I was, it really broke me in two, because I didn't know it was there, and it kind of made me doubt everything about my journey with dōTERRA and whether or not I had what it took to do it. And when I was reading about the sort of separation in a rites of passage, it says separation is when you withdraw from the current status. There is often a detachment or cutting away from the former self. And I really did experience that on the first day. I sort of felt like I didn't know anything anymore about what I was doing and what I was going to do. And then day 2 was my experience of like the transition or the liminal phase in it. And they say that this is like the in-between, and you're not in one place, and you're not where you were, and you're not where you're going. And so day 2, yeah, I was very emotional and kind of very raw. I felt like all of my nerve endings were exposed, and I could take on all the information, but I also felt in some ways sort of numb and quite lost, and very emotional again. And luckily, you know, we did have an amazing team there, and, you know, it was so gorgeous to have people around that I could talk to. But also I was sort of in this sort of deep journey myself as well. And then kind of came through to day 3, and like in the rites of passage, that would be like the third phase is called incorporation, and it says like that usually there's some sort of ceremony that consummates the rite of passage. And so for us, like we went through day 3. On day 3, I actually walked the stage for recognition as a silver, which was really amazing. And luckily on day 3, I wasn't such a mess. So I had by then pulled myself together, and actually it was amazing because Nathan and Bex, I had a really good chat with you guys, didn't I, on the Friday afternoon, and kind of got some clarity on it. But yeah, so on the final day, you know, it was this really kind of, I felt very uplifted and very excited and joyful, and did the walk on stage. And then actually we were staying in a house share, so there were 10 of us, or 9 of us sharing a house, and in the evening, the way that I work, and I work very closely with Emily, she's my direct upline, and we do a lot of like women's circles, and that's very much like the sort of the essence and the way that we share the oils. And so in our little house, we held a circle to kind of close our journey with convention, and Rishna and I sort of held the space, and we did some meditation, and Rishna had brought her drum, and we did a drum journey, and we did lots of sharing and releasing of limiting beliefs and things. It was really beautiful, and it was sort of to close it all. And it did feel really significant and really needed, because there'd been such big expansive energy over the few days. And so it felt good to bring it in with this reverence to kind of clarify what we were taking home from it, what we wanted to leave behind, and all of those things. And so we did that, and that was a really beautiful ending. And then after that, I kind of packed everything up, and I went to have a shower to get ready because I was leaving early in the morning. And in the shower, my why just plopped into my head. So basically, I've been a bit ashamed to admit that whilst I know it's really important, I've never really been convinced of knowing my why. Like, I've had some good ideas and like some good shots at it. And I've always felt like I've been fairly close, but kind of known that I hadn't authentically found it yet. And basically after convention, and actually approaching convention as this opportunity for this rite of passage and this transformation, I was able to take from it the most powerful thing, which is my purpose. And so, you know, I guess the way that I approach the work and the way that I approach my life is actually to kind of try and live and experience things as a ceremony rather than just an experience. And actually through doing that, I think it was a really transformational few days. And yeah, I'm absolutely over the moon that I went. And I would encourage, like, I think you can't recreate this in smaller events, and you can't really recreate it in online spaces. It's something totally unique. And had I not been there in that energy with the team around, with the opportunity to see all these inspiring people and then have the spaces in between, I wouldn't have got that clarity. So yes, go to convention. Sorry, I spoke for too long. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you, Dot. Thank you for being, you know, really honest there and sharing all your feelings, because that's the thing, you know, we really want to get across to you guys is, yes, you can watch these videos and it's okay and it's good. We really invite you to do that. And it is the experience of being there. It's that whole immersion. It's being around people that you trust and that you're safe with and you can chat with, and you have the breakthroughs in the moments, like in betweens, in the download that you get from when someone speaks, you know, when you're in that energy. It just accelerates your personal growth so much more. And this is what I've experienced every single time. So it was lovely to be there and share that with you, Dot. And, you know, you're such an inspiring person. And I'm so, you know, glad that you found your why, because that is so important. And lots of us, you know, thanks for your honesty in that, because I've struggled with my why since hitting Prezi.
What?
And, and I found my why this time too. It became really clear just when I was listening to a talk, and it wasn't necessarily what they were even saying. It was just that space and being in the energy, and then hit by something that inspired me. And that's what's happened to me so many times. So yes, it's everything. So thank you, Dot, for sharing that.
I know Rebecca's why. It's to do what I ask.
That's why it hasn't worked. That's why it hasn't worked. Not motivating enough. Sorry, baby. So the next, yes, Petrushka and then Karina, please.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And so, yeah, it's a pleasure to share the experience with you from convention. And I came back yesterday home and Becky texted me and she asked if I could share the experience. And, you know, my first thought was, oh my gosh, my English is not good enough. What if people won't understand me? Or, you know, what if they will judge me? And then, yeah, and then I remind myself the last speech of Daniela on the convention and what she said about, you know, not being so perfect and just don't worry about, you know, everything, and just don't be too, you know, don't judge yourself, because people won't judge you. And that's what we should do as a leaders. Like, we don't have to be perfect to be authentic, and people won't follow us because they're looking for a perfect leaders. They just follow us because they're looking for something new in their life and they're looking for a new energy. And if we have like pure hearts and, you know, we want to share the experience and our story and, you know, all those things which makes us shine, the people will follow us. So yeah, I'm that kind of person who is like always prepared for our Zooms, and, you know, I have like loads of notes, and, you know, if I won't prepare well, I don't feel good enough. So yesterday I said, I have to finish that, you know, I have to be just authentic and just have fun in this business. So that's the way when I start to lose my comfort zone. And yeah, it was the convention should be for everyone who should, who wants to change something in the business, who should want to do something with like, you know, the limitation in ourselves. Like, you know, sometimes we are the first person who is very judging, and we don't feel well just because we are thinking, well, what people will say about us. But, you know, I think that's the main thing from the convention. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be authentic. You just have to have pure heart and good intention. And, you know, it will just happen. And you don't have to see the whole journey. You just have to put the first step, and someone who will, you know, come to your business, come to your team, will put that first step with you, and then you will put the second step together, and that's how it will happen. That's how that business will happen. Yep. So it wasn't a long speech.
That was perfect. That end talk was just brilliant, wasn't it? What Danny spoke about. And
yeah.
Like you said, I've got some notes here as well. Like, growing might feel like breaking at first, didn't she? She said about feeling cracked open, and, you know, sometimes like growing, you might not feel at all perfect. You might feel like all your weaknesses are exposed, and you'll just see all these things that aren't great about you. And that's you on your growth path. And like you said, you just need to be authentic. And I knew Petrushka. I mean, we're just getting to know Petrushka more. And this might be the first time you've met Petrushka on our team call, because she's been building pretty much without an upline really in Poland, right? You've been the one having to, you know, generate all the momentum or the excitement, belief in your team. And you've done so well. And you brought, what, 10 of you to the convention, right?
It was 10 of us. Yeah.
Yes. So, you know, I really acknowledge you for that, Petrushka, for who you are. And you're just doing it. You're taking one step at a time and just growing, being that lighthouse that will attract others. And she's also really good on Instagram. So follow Petrushka. She's amazing on Instagram.
That's why we set up Instagram. She would only be our friends if we set up Instagram.
Yeah, she said to us.
Yeah, that's why I'm your friend now. I will teach you how to do that.
Thank you, Petrushka. It's lovely to connect.
Thank you.
Really lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so now we have Karina, who's going to talk to us about Meta Power.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's lovely to follow on from Patricia to talk actually, because I was like, oh, I'm going to prepare these slides and I stressed myself out and I was completely like, oh no, there's so much information. And I was totally sort of blown away by Meta Power this weekend. I mean, all of the points you've all mentioned, I love. But with Meta Power, I'm an oils girl, right? I'm a French aromatherapist trained. I was like, the oils are my thing. You know, I'm possibly never going to move away from the oils. So this for me was like, I have to be there. And when I got there, it blew my mind. So I'm going to try and translate how that affected me. And I'm not going to give you an exact step-by-step thing because Daniel Plantin did so incredible with that amazing talk. And we were so emotional watching Daniel. We're so proud of you, I have to say that. And actually, he immediately touched on something that was really powerful for me. At the beginning, he said he did this for his kids. And a bit of my story, just very briefly, is that my father passed away after suffering with Alzheimer's. And my brother is 61. He's my half brother and he's 20 years older than me. So 62. And he has early onset Alzheimer's. So my priority at the moment is to really take care of myself. And lovely Anna was using the Meta Power and sharing her experiences with it. And I had a sudden realization that for me to take care of my kids the best, I have to take care of myself. And I've always kind of sidelined that a little bit. And I take my lifelong vitality and it's amazing. But this is something I can do on top of that. And it really hit home through Daniel's talk. And I was really emotional about it actually afterwards. That actually taking control of your well-being, this is another level. This is mind-blowing. This is so powerful for us all to take on. And this is incredible. dōTERRA, as it was said in the convention, could be a standalone company just for Meta Power. And we have access to that. So I am totally excited by this now. The convention atmosphere and the way they presented it was incredible. There was so much science in there. Nathan has posted on Silver Blossom Daniel's video, and I urge you to watch it because it's just wonderful. Daniel, you did so well. You're so inspiring. And it wasn't just, it wasn't specific results about your body, although it was about how you feel and how your capability and belief in yourself has grown through taking care of yourself as well. So I really loved how this came together. And Dr. Riggs, he was incredible. He got such a warm persona. So basically, if you haven't heard about Meta Power, you must have been living under a rock. The US has gone crazy for it. But it is the reformulated Smart and Sassy, which is now different levels of the same ingredients. So it contains grapefruit, lemon, peppermint, ginger, and cinnamon. So that's in all of the Meta Power products, okay? And this is, what is metabolism? Metabolism is a chemical process in our body that our body uses to transform food into fuel, okay? So the power, the PWR, can also stand for personal wellness realized. And this is about our personal journeys. It's unique to every one of us. And that's always been what I love and absolutely love about the oils. Everybody reacts to essential oils slightly differently. We each have our favorites, which is emotional reasons. There's always memory anchors for oils, but also on a cellular level, physically, we can personalize the Meta Power products, how we use them. And Daniel's given some amazing steps to follow about doing a cleanse protocol before as well. But some of the statistics, I just wanted to recap for you because Dr. Riggs was saying that in Europe, there's 45% of the deaths in Europe annually are related to heart disease. So looking at a Meta Power, taking the collagen products, which is an amazing product within the Meta Power, it's going to help our muscles, which includes our heart. It helps our whole body work so much better. And this is about looking at our metabolic health with the biological health. This is literally about our lifespan and quality of life, which is just incredible. I mean, the oils do that already, but now we have this. This is like tying it all up together in an amazing system. I'm so excited because I've not actually started it. And as I was saying, I was hesitant, but now I'm literally can't wait to try it. Another statistic Dr. Riggs shared was that 1 in 3 children are unhealthy in Europe. And actually where I live in the UK, which is near Hastings, has one of the worst childhood obesity rates around here. So how we're going to help those children and the people around us is by educating the parents. And this is incredibly simple, which is fantastic to say, isn't it? So by using our oils for our well-being, this is an incredible accompaniment. It's completely going to link it all together for us. So this is a focus on keeping our metabolic health intact for as long as possible. So this is going to help our body with the aging process. It's going to slow down that aging process. And we're living longer, but with more illnesses. So this is about reducing that statistic, helping our quality of life. So again, this is about us taking back control, which is amazing, right? This is about us tuning in for us personally. What areas do we need to work on? And he talks about the 5 pillars of metabolic health. And I do have a slide to share. Is that all right, Nathan? Because I forget if I don't look at the picture. Can I share my screen? Is that all right in here?
Yeah.
Thank you. Where are we?
Sorry, I think, yeah, go on. You're
There
there.
we go. I've just pressed, let me move this up here. Bear with me, I'm a bit funky today. Here we go. Can you see that, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I've just talked over this bit already, so I was faffing. These are the products. We have the essential blend, the soft gels, the beadlets, the assist and the advantage. So this is how it comes in this beautiful little box. Also on there's a QR code, and that's really important, but we are going to share that with you. Nathan's got the link for us. I'll come back to that in a second. So we're looking at lifestyle choices, and that whole dōTERRA pyramid of wellness that we have been aware of for years has been tweaked slightly, and it talks about metabolic health. So it's amazing that we have dōTERRA have focused on this for us. We are going to help ourselves with healthy eating, healthy daily movement, healthy connections, and our stress management and smart supplementation. Dr. Riggs was saying how we can bring it all together for our customers and for ourselves. And those 5 pillars of metabolic health are absolutely imperative. So when people have been using MetaPower, their sleep has improved, and sleep is so key for us. When we sleep, where is my statistics? I've got them written, so many notes here. I think it's like 40%. It makes our sleep, helps our metabolism by 40%. It's completely linked. I'm just trying to find my right page. I don't know where I've put it. But they have provided some incredible information, and this is the link that Nathan's going to share with you. They have created a MetaPower hub. We don't have to do all the hard work on our own. This is what I absolutely love about dōTERRA, the whole part of convention, the whole being in that community together. They were saying connecting with people is absolutely important. So with us connecting with our customers and one another, and even at convention, it is the #1 predictor of a healthy long life, is human connection. So they are giving us all the resources that we need to share this forward and sort of really support us. There's ebooks in there, there's slides that you can share in there, there's product images, yes, and there's frequently asked questions. I've had a look through and they are incredible. Everything you could have thought of that you'll need to help share these products are there in this MetaPower hub, and it's in 22 languages. They're already like ahead of us, helping us, and it goes alongside our lifelong vitality, not instead of it. But all of this comes together. They did talk in depth as well about how the collagen affects your heart health, your teeth, your muscles, and your joints. The biotin, which is water-soluble vitamin C, and it helps with beauty, lack of age, reducing aging, will protect our skin. Phytoceramides, also protecting the skin, and hyaluronic acid, which supports the whole system. It just works amazingly well together. And I just think that, with Daniel's amazing experiences he shared, which you're going to see on that amazing video, you can see positive effects for some people in a week to 3 weeks, 1 to 3 weeks. They say that it has an amazing effect on the body. And so it's just incredible. We're going to be able to close the gap between the lifespan and the health span, which is a chart they share with us. We can make our way of living better and feel more optimistic about this. And as Daniel shared, he had more energy and he's doing more exercise and he's feeling more motivated. And isn't it awesome? We get to tap into this. So I'm really, really excited about doing this, and I expect to see, some amazing improvements really soon from it. But I came away from that just feeling so happy and loved and cared for, and being around everybody. It was just awesome. So I hope that inspires you to go and look at the Meta Power Hub.
That was amazing. And I was like you, Karina, when it first came out, wasn't that into it. But then seeing Daniel's presentation especially, and then all the science as well, just made me think, this is an opportunity to reach those people that perhaps we haven't been able to reach with the oils as well, right? And get them in the way that might seem a bit more superficial to begin with. And then knowing that if they come in because they want the anti-aging effects or the weight loss, they're going to get all those internal benefits and then get drawn to the oils because they're in there, and then they can lead on from there too. So I'm so excited about that. So thank you, Karina, for sharing that so wonderfully.
Thank you. It was an absolute joy to be there, and I wish I could go back as well.
I know. You can next year.
Yes.
Thanks, Karina. And yes, just want to take this opportunity to do a shout out for Daniel. If there is one presentation I would recommend you watch from the whole of convention, it would be Daniel's. Not because we love him so much, but because he was amazing, and it was emotion. So it made it real, and there was lots of really useful tips there. So seeing what Daniel's stats and all of that stuff will just be really helpful for when you go and share it with others. You've got a real life story because Daniel, you know the before and after, there's no like fakeness there. So it's just a really helpful video. So well done, Daniel, you smashed it.
So we also just before we go into the next person, we've also set up a group for next year's convention.
Yes, we have.
So if you buy a ticket, as soon as you buy a ticket, then add yourself to the group, the WhatsApp group, and get ready for next year. It's our goal is to have 500 of the team there next year.
We had 150 this year, which was great, up from last year. So next year it's 500, folks.
Yeah, tripling our impact. So
we have 2 more. I know we've already reached the end of our call time, and we just have 2 more people that we really want to share. So we're going to hand over to Kelly, because this is really lovely to see Kelly there with 6 builders. So we just want her to share
Come on, Kelly.
about that, Kelly, and then Tim.
Yes, hello, hi there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
Yes. I'm actually still here in Lisbon. I'm at a retreat here with my son. It was his 18th birthday present, so I'm still sitting outside because it's still so gorgeous and warm. So wow, I don't know where to begin really. When Rebecca messaged me, I think it was on Sunday, to ask me to speak tonight, I said I resonated most of all with Matt Hall's speech, which I know Kathy has spoken so wonderfully about at the beginning of the webinar. About surfing your own wave, and wow, so many highlights, but I'm going to just focus on this because it resonates so personally with me. So I started my dōTERRA journey, gosh, about it was just over 5 years ago, and I can't believe there's a truck driving past. It's been quiet the whole time, and now sorry about that noise.
Well, we can't hear it. We can't hear it, Kelly.
Oh, good. So yeah, I think for me, my talking about the theme of like resilience and never giving up, and the journey of always believing in yourself. And when I started my journey, I wasn't on Facebook, I wasn't on Instagram, I never owned a laptop. And knowing that was the way, one of the most powerful way to share, I was just like, I don't know, how I'm going to do this, but my love for the oils just kept me going. And to say it's been the biggest learning curve is an understatement of the century. Like I say, I knew nothing. Also, it was a very emotionally difficult time, because I couldn't believe how so many of my family and friends just didn't seem that interested, didn't have much support from them, and I obviously so desperately wanted to help them the way, you know, my life had been touched by them, and that was really, really, really difficult. So to say the personal development journey for me has probably been the biggest thing. And so when I heard Matt Hall speak, it resonated so deeply with me about not giving up. And I've been to a couple of dōTERRA conventions, I've been to lots of UK events, and always felt very kind of lost and alone, but my love for the oils just kept me going, and I could see and feel this vision of building it with this beautiful tribe and not feeling so alone. So I think my message really, and I won't stay too much longer, but I think my message is that if you believe so powerfully in the vision of the oils, then and you believe in yourself, then you will get there. And I think once I'd worked on myself and my self-development, and I learned all these tools, because it is very daunting when you don't know anything technical or social media, and I think my energy just totally changed and when I felt I'd done so much work on myself, that these beautiful women started to appear. And not only was I having more people coming to my classes and workshops, it was actually people that saw the vision that I've had in my heart from day one. So just to really quickly tell you that a couple of the girls that came have literally just received their oils. So they obviously felt, you know, the call on their heart. They felt the energy from what we were sharing in our classes and workshops. And 2 of the girls out of the 6 builders that I brought with me to Lisbon literally have only had their oils a few weeks. So there you go. I think my message is, once you have done all the work on yourself and your energy changes about how you're kind of showing up, then you do become you become a magnet for women who want the same as you and see the same vision. So to be there with my 6 builders was beyond emotional, and I feel like we haven't even started. And to share in the joy with my own tribe was beyond special, and something I'll treasure forever. And I just feel like we're only just starting, we're just warming up. So thank you for everything.
Thank you, Kelly. That's so lovely to hear, Flip. And you're a perfect example of what the main message, I think, was in convention. It was about doing that internal work and about, you know, loving and nurturing yourself and being that stand and focusing on giving, and doors will open. And it's a continuous journey, isn't it? And you've obviously made some like massive leaps this year, and that's really inspiring for anyone on this call. You know, think now and like envision who you want to bring to convention, and you might not have met them yet. And you can, like, you know, think like Kelly did, oh, it would be wonderful to bring my tribe with me, and go about, you know, being responsible about it and carrying on with your activities and working on yourself alongside, right? And then that's where the magic happens. Thank you, Kelly. That was really perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Well done, Kelly. Stuck in there.
Perseverance. You're such a beautiful person. I mean, I'm not surprised they want to work with you. So our final guest is Tim. You all know Tim Mascarenhas. So we've asked him to come and share a couple of his highlights with us. So over to you, Tim.
Hi, thanks Bex, Nathan. And just want to echo, I've been on a couple of events with Kelly. Got to know her quite a little bit, and we share a beautiful mutual friend actually that I was at college with. And Kelly, you're such a beautiful person, and I know you've got this. I know you have. Excellent. Thanks for allowing me to talk on this call.
Well,
tonight.
we just want to say Tim's in his beautiful new home.
Oh yes,
you know,
new house,
Tim.
It's very Instagrammable. I'm also, like Nathan and Bex, I actually have about 5 more followers than them, so I'm doing a I got. And if you want to follow me, I'm called Fathering5. If you would like to follow me. Try and keep it light, so come and join me. Thank you, Dot, for adding that. My mission is to get more followers than Emily by the end of the year. So
Whoa, that's high. That's steep.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I called it. That's my that's my why. That was my
Good,
why it came to. Anyway, so you've kept you so long. So yeah, so basically I just wanted to say, I'll keep it brief. Well, I'll try to. It was for me the best convention so far I've been to, and yeah, I've been to US convention as well, and yeah, I thought it was amazing, an amazing venue, amazing setup, and it was really good. I just want to echo what Beck said about the benefits of actually going. I know that Nathan recorded it for everybody, and I know you can watch, you can watch all the presentations back. I'd say that only gives you about 15% of what you get from actually going to a convention. The passion, the relationships you build. I mean, it's like one big dōTERRA village. Everyone's got their backpacks and their tags, and you go into a shop and you bump into somebody. I bumped into a doctor from Germany who's doing dōTERRA. You have a lovely conversation, you learn something and you move on. So you're not going to get that from a live stream. The emotion, watching people watching them before they come on stage with their families, their kids, the relationship between people and what it means to people. You don't get that from watching it online. The connection you make with people at corporate, those connections, you can't get that online. And the accountability for actually going in the first place that you have for yourself, for actually going, what that means. I'm actually here now. I paid for it. I paid for the hotel. I've left my kids. I've left my husband and my wife looking after everybody. I'm accountable for that. So I'm going to make the most of it. And what does that say to you, your team? Not just your team, your upline or your downline. Who does it say to everybody? What does it say to yourself? What does it mean? So I feel like it's like a battery, like an energy charger. The energy goes up and up and up and up like this. And I feel like it just keeps going up. 3 days of the energy is going more and more and more, and you come back exhausted. Like Dot said, it's a real emotional journey, but you come back with so much energy inside of you, and I feel like you can't get that if you just stay at home. And just on a final point, a lady talked about being all in at the on the first day, and she analogy was something to do with poker, like when you're playing poker and you have all your chips and you just push them all in on the table. You are all in. I mean, you've gone all in. You're either walking home or you're going to win something, but you're all in. And if you just save £2 a day from now until the next convention, you'll have enough money, £730, to be able to go to convention, book a hotel, and pay for your travel. And how could you save £2 a day from now until then? Are you all in, or are you all in? So I feel like if you're doing this, taking it seriously, you need to be going to convention, and dōTERRA are getting better and better at them, so they're not to be missed. Anyway, enough of that. So Corey Lindley, who I'm going to talk about, his talk, he's the CEO of the company, and he often shares figures and facts of where we are at the moment. And just piggybacking off what Karina said, who, by the way, that's another thing. It's lovely to see Karina. I haven't spent time with Karina for a long time, and again, building relationships and spending quality time together. About Meta Power, he said along the lines of it could stand alone company. Just to go on to that, he actually said that just from the last year, Meta Power would be in the top 50 MLM companies in the world as a standalone product. Over $100 million worth of sales in the first year. It's important to remember, he said, that we are still about the essential oils, but the Meta Power is a connection to get into the but actually the Meta Power has 5 essential oils in it, so they're still about the oils, aren't they? He spoke about the fact that we are the largest essential oil company in the world. We have 100 million customers. We're privately held, which is very important, and you hear this a lot about dōTERRA, but there's nobody, no shareholders or stakeholders controlling what they do, controlling where they spend their money, controlling what products they do, controlling what direction they go in. We're all the shareholders in dōTERRA. We all make those decisions collectively. That's really important. And at the moment, there's 25 global offices. And he spoke about how the future looks for dōTERRA, and how it's going to look in 2030. Sorry. And in 2030, you'll be excited to know, if we carry on going the way we're going, that dōTERRA will be the largest essential oil company in the world.
The largest
So-
network marketing company in the world.
Yes, the largest network marketing company in the world. So if you think about, you know, what else is going on in the world, dōTERRA will be the largest. It will have 50 million companies, 50 million customers, sorry. It will still be privately held. No one will still take money from it. It'll have 35 global offices and it'll have a revenue of about $7 billion. And in Europe alone, at the moment, we have about 80,000 sharers in dōTERRA in Europe. That's a sharer they call a sharer in dōTERRA somebody that enrolls maybe one person a year. At the moment, we have half of that. By 2030, we'll have 80,000. 500, I mean, you can just keep going, the figures just keep going. 500,000 loyal customers, that's three orders a year. At the moment, that's half of that. And there'll be 12,500 leaders. So as you can see, where dōTERRA is going is incredible, incredible. And there's a lovely thing which I'll get Nathan to share on the group. It's called a flywheel, and there's a flywheel of a corporate flywheel, and there's a sort of a customer, an advocate flywheel, and it's basically three sections saying product, story, customer, leaders, and profit in a circle, and just what they mean to corporate and what they mean to the customer. It's a really nice way. I always try and explain to people the journey that the oils go on from the product all the way around in a big circle, and they come back to the oils and the lives that they affect on that journey. So if that's a really good thing for maybe Nathan to share. And finally, to how you spoke about the market and the being saturated. We talk about the market being saturated, and that his sister-in-law, who was obviously known about the oils for a very, very long time, suddenly decided about 9 months ago that she wanted to start doing dōTERRA, to his surprise. So now she lives in Salt Lake City, and if you could choose somewhere in the world to build your dōTERRA business, you probably wouldn't say Salt Lake City. That wouldn't be your first choice.
Definitely last.
Last choice, yeah. So, but she doesn't know about that. That's where she lives. She's just excited and she just wants to start sharing the oils. Well, you know, so he just showed her figures from start to where she is now up until April. And I mean, it was, you know, it started off and she was like, she went from 6,000, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, 14,000 volume. And she's now silver. She did a class next to the dōTERRA headquarters in Salt Lake City. She had 10 people there and 4 people enrolled. So it just shows you, when we think about, you know, oh, where I live, there's somebody else doing it anyway, or, you know, I mean, dōTERRA is, Salt Lake City is basically like a dōTERRA land, and she started there. And I think there's something in that, because when you start dōTERRA on your journey, you kind of you're just innocent, you're just excited. You don't worry about all of those things. You don't even know those things. You just literally share with your heart, and you give and give and give, and it comes back to you. And even in somewhere like Salt Lake City, with that mentality and that attitude, you can do really, really well. So I just thought that was a nice way for him to finish. And he also said that he is her account manager.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. But I mean, imagine Coraline being your account manager. But there we go. So yeah, they were my take.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well,
Thank
she thinks
you.
she is anyway.
Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you for coming on to TuneCore and sharing that. It was so lovely having you there. And yeah, you're such an inspirational leader, but brilliant, just brilliant words of wisdom there to share with us all. So thank you. We're going to wrap up our call an hour and 20 minutes later.
We could have gone on for a lot longer. Anyways.
This is it's hard to bring convention to you, and these are our longest calls, and we hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks for staying with us. But yes, as we've all said, please just don't think about it. Just go and, you know, purchase your convention ticket first, and in a few months' time you can purchase your flight. That will be cheap at this time of year, and then your hotels. You can do it in stages and make it more affordable. You just can't afford not to. And Corey Lindley actually, on the back of what Tim was saying, he opened up the convention by talking about his wife, who just goes and like helps everyone and stops and talks to everyone. He's like, really, we need to talk to everyone, we need to help everyone. And she's like, yeah, you know, if not us, then who? And this was kind of the message of convention as well. Like, we have this incredible gift, and this is part of my why, to kind of remember, because we can start to take it for granted sometimes and our fear can stop us. But everybody needs to hear about the oils and the financial freedom. It's twofold what we can offer people. We can offer people financial health, physical, emotional, and spiritual health. That is life. That's everything anyone looks for in life. And here we are going around this like gift of all those. And if we're just silent, then we're missing out on blessing so many people's lives. You know, people are praying to hear about what we can offer. And so if we don't share it, then who else will? You know, they might not ever get it. And there's the other side of someone else that will come in and speak to them about it, and we'll miss out on that opportunity of gifting them. So really, it's like all kind of everyone's been talking about, it's about getting over your fears, that internal chatter, and just going and giving. And we'll share this another time. dōTERRA also spoke, of course, about healing hands, and there's 3 really cool projects they're working on in Europe at the moment, which we will spend some time, another call, talking about, and we'll put it in our Silver Blossom groups. But we are really in just the most incredible company ever. We just get to gift and help people in every which way, and it's just such an honor. And thank you for all being part of it, and for being brave and doing your part. And let's just continue to shine and do our part and be answers to prayers. And so grateful for all your input tonight. Have a lovely couple of weeks. We'll have a guest speaker for you in 2 Mondays' time, and we'll let you know who that is soon.
Yeah, we've got loads of great things coming. We're going to be introducing over the next couple of weeks and months. So there's just so much, almost too much.
Yeah, actually, just really quickly, we'll put this on Silver Blossom. We don't know all the details yet, but Eleanor, and I can never say her last name, go for it.
Symposi.
Is that it? Oh, I thought it was way more complex. Okay, Symposi. I can say that. Eleanor Symposi, double blue diamond from Romania. It's spelled way harder, but that's probably it. She's coming anyway to see her team in the UK, but she's opening up a training day for everybody. I think it's the last Saturday of May. So I know that's quite short notice, but we don't know all the details. I think it's going to be in London, and she's opened up to everyone, and she's very inspiring. So if you can make that, I would go to that as well.
Yes.
Okay, we shall let you go. Thank you.
Well, there one, and there is on Silver Blossom. I posted lots of the details. The playlist for conventions on there. There's 4 or 5 talks on there at the moment. This week I'll be adding more and more to it, so you can watch the recordings as you want. So check them out. Make sure you watch Daniel's.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
And Matt Hall's. Make sure you watch those 2 if you watch any. Daniel's and Matt Hall's. They're fantastic. All right.
Okay.
Night, everybody.
Good night. Good night.